In a quiet forest, Officer Daniel thought it would be just another routine patrol with his loyal K-9 dog. But everything changed when the dog suddenly froze. Hackles raised, barking furiously at an ancient oak tree. Officer Daniel followed the dog's gaze and noticed something eerie. A massive unnatural lump bulges from the trunk. Black sap oozed from its cracks, like the tree was bleeding. At first, he thought it was just a disease or decay. But the dog's frantic behavior told a different story. Every instinct told him something wasn't right. With trembling hands, he raised his knife, sliced into the lump, and what spilled out left him breathless. What he found hidden inside made his blood run cold. The shocking discovery left everyone in the town speechless. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. What's the strangest thing you've ever found in an unexpected place? Drop your answer in the comments below. The forest was unusually quiet that morning. The kind of silence that seemed to swallow every sound. Officer Daniel adjusted his cap, his boots crunching softly over the fallen leaves. Beside him trotted Max, his loyal German shepherd, trained to detect danger long before Daniel ever could. For years, the pair had walked this path during routine patrols. But today, something felt different. The air was thick, heavy, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. Max suddenly slowed, his ears twitching, nose pressed close to the ground. Daniel frowned, sensing the shift in his partner's energy. Normally calm and composed, Max now stiffened, his muscles tense. A low growl rumbled from his throat as his gaze locked onto something deeper in the woods. Daniel followed his eyes and spotted an ancient oak tree, its massive trunk towering like a guardian of the forest. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, but Max wouldn't move, his hackles rising. Daniel's hand instinctively went to his belt, though there was no visible threat. The forest pressed in around them, shadows stretching across the bark. He had learned long ago to trust Max's instincts, and right now the dog was warning him that something was terribly wrong. Max's growl turned into sharp, frantic barks that echoed through the still forest, bouncing off the trees like urgent alarms. His paws dug into the ground, claws scraping dirt as he lunged toward the ancient oak. Daniel tightened his grip on the leash, trying to pull him back, but Max refused to move away. His bark wasn't just noise. It was desperation, a plea for his handler to pay attention. Daniel's pulse quickened. "Easy, boy," he whispered, though his own voice betrayed unease. He stepped closer, scanning the oak's bark. That's when he saw it. A massive bulge protruding from the trunk, swollen and unnatural, like the tree was hiding a wound it couldn't heal. Thick, dark sap oozed from cracks in the lump, dripping slowly to the forest floor. The liquid shimmered under the dim light, but its color was wrong. Too dark, too heavy, almost resembling blood. Daniel's stomach tightened as he crouched to inspect it. The knife on his belt suddenly felt heavier. Max's barking grew louder, his body rigid, eyes wild with urgency. Daniel hesitated, glancing around the empty forest as a chill raced up his spine. He had seen plenty of strange things during patrols, but nothing like this. This wasn't just a tree. It was hiding something, and Max wanted it revealed. Daniel wiped the sweat from his brow, his fingers tightening around the handle of his knife. Max's frantic barks had turned into deep growls, each one vibrating with urgency. Before we dive into heart-pounding dog stories, please subscribe. Many people watch videos without subscribing. Your one subscription helps me create stories like this. Hit the bell icon for more stories like this. Officer Daniel took a deep breath, steadying himself as he pressed the blade against the swollen lump. The bark felt unnaturally soft beneath the steel, almost like skin, and for a second, he froze, questioning if this was even safe. But Max's warning growl pushed him forward. With a swift motion, Daniel cut into the bulge. The sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard. A wet, tearing noise that sent shivers down his spine. Thick, dark fluid spilled out, running down the trunk like blood, staining the roots below. Daniel stumbled back, his eyes wide with disbelief. Trees didn't bleed like this. His chest tightened as his instincts screamed that this was no ordinary discovery. Then something shifted inside. The lump quivered as though something alive had been trapped within. Max lunged forward, barking so furiously that Daniel had to hold him back. The officer's hand trembled as he widened the cut, heart pounding in his ears. And then he saw it, an object buried inside, glinting faintly under the ooze. Not wood, not sap, something man-made. Daniel's breath caught. Whatever was hidden here wasn't natural, and uncovering it might change everything. Daniel's knife scraped against the hidden object, sending a metallic clang echoing through the forest. He froze, his breath caught in his throat. Max barked wildly, clawing at the ground as if desperate to dig it out himself. Daniel steadied his hand and carved away more of the bark, revealing a strange metal casing wedged deep inside the swollen tree. It looked old, weathered by years of entrapment, yet it shimmered faintly beneath the sap. The officer's pulse quickened. "What on earth?" he muttered, his voice shaky. He pried the object loose, pulling with both hands until it slid free with a sickening squelch. The casing was heavier than it looked, covered in dark resin. Daniel wiped at it with his sleeve, revealing faded engravings that made his stomach twist. Numbers, a date, and a military insignia. His heart nearly stopped. This wasn't just junk hidden in a tree. This was evidence. Before Daniel could process the meaning, the casing cracked open slightly, releasing a foul stench of decay. Inside, a glimpse of fabric, frayed and discolored, caught his eye. It wasn't just metal that had been hidden. It was something far darker. Something that should never have been buried here. Daniel staggered back, nearly dropping the find, while Max growled low, his eyes locked on the tree as if guarding his partner from whatever horrors it had just revealed. Daniel steadied his trembling hands, forcing himself to pry the casing open further. The stench grew unbearable, thick, and suffocating. As the resin crumbled away, scraps of cloth and brittle strands of hair became visible. His eyes widened in horror. This wasn't just a box. It was a makeshift coffin. Someone had hidden human remains inside this tree. For a moment, the world spun around him, and all he could hear was Max's urgent barking, warning him to be careful. Kneeling on the forest floor, Daniel carefully lifted a fragment of fabric. Its once bright color now faded into a dull, grimy shade. Stitched into the corner was a patch, an old uniform insignia. His chest tightened as he realized the bones belonged to a soldier, someone who had vanished decades ago, never reported home. Suddenly, every mystery surrounding the strange tree and Max's insistence snapped into place. This wasn't just chance. This was fate unearthing a buried truth. The weight of history pressed heavily on Daniel's shoulders. Who could have done this? Why was a fallen hero hidden here? Denied the honor and respect they deserved. He clenched his fists, anger and grief warring inside him. The forest was no longer silent. It felt haunted by the cries of the forgotten. And as Daniel stared into the hollow tree, one thing became painfully clear. Uncovering this truth was only the beginning. The forest that once held secrets now echoed with the weight of truth. Daniel stood by the hollow tree, his uniform damp with sweat and dirt, while Max stayed close, eyes fixed on him with quiet loyalty. Word of the discovery spread quickly. Soon, officers, townsfolk, and even local reporters crowded the clearing. Murmurs rippled through the air as the remains were carefully removed, draped respectfully in a flag. For the first time in decades, the soldier would finally be honored. Daniel spoke softly, his voice carrying over the crowd. This man was forgotten, hidden away where no one could find him. But Max knew. He led us here, and now we can give this hero the dignity he deserves. Tears pricked his eyes as he looked down at his K9 partner. The German shepherd wagged his tail slowly, as if understanding the gravity of the moment. In the silence that followed, the community bowed their heads together. That evening, a memorial service was held at the town square. Candles flickered against the night sky, illuminating faces streaked with tears. For Daniel, the discovery wasn't just about solving a mystery. It was about healing wounds long buried. And as Max sat faithfully beside him, Daniel realized that sometimes the past isn't uncovered by chance, but by loyalty, instinct, and a bond that refuses to let the truth remain hidden. If you were Daniel, would you feel closure or keep searching for answers about who hid the soldier? Let me know your answer in the comment box below.